because the person you arguing with ain't going to receive nothing you got to say. So you really got to read the room, take the temperature of the environment, and see if I say something, is my words going to actually change the situation. Family, what's up? Welcome to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast are that will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about on the Bacon Bits Podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. And you know, it's always these 5 words. I want you to say them out loud. I don't care where you at. Say them. Say valuable information applied equals success. And so, fam, you know, I always want you to be successful in every area of your life. I don't never not want you to be successful. I guess I try to focus in on the balance so much because, fam, I don't want you to have you be a billionaire, but your relationships suck, your health suck. You know, you constantly stressing, having anxiety. But guess what? You got a lot of money. That ain't my forte. I mean, you have a great married life, man, great kids, all that. But fam, when it's time for them to bury you, they got to go in debt and have a car wash for you to raise money for the bury. I don't want that life for you either. Okay, fam, I don't want you to be like some kind of bodybuilder, man. You got like 3% body fat, man. You doing the doggone thing. Your numbers is wonderful, but can't nobody, deal with you because you judging everybody because they ain't in the same health as you, and you broke with all them, supplements. And fam, I want you to have all of it. So in this episode of what we're gonna be talking about today, fam, I want to talk about some underestimated, underrated skills when it comes to life, man. I want to talk about some of that stuff because there are some like little small nuances that I want to talk about in this episode that a lot of people forget and get away from, and I think in having a great life, you cannot miss out on these things. It's really important because other things can get you tripped up. So per se, as we go to the first point, is, fam, you got to let people be wrong about you. You got to understand you have no control on how other people think about you. When I finally got this principle right here, man, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. I don't care how much you try to love on people, man. They have every right to interpret it the way they want to interpret it. These are the little nuances that I have to slow down and sit down and think about because I think about the person that I admire the most in my life, and that's Jesus Christ. And I think about, I don't care how much of a phenomenal guy that he was. I don't care how much he loved on people and gave them what they needed and was a blessing to them. And he wanted them to have the utmost best life they can possibly have. You still had people that looked at Jesus like he was crazy. You still had people that limited him on what he could do. Now listen to what I'm saying. They limited him on what he was able to do. He said he could only do so many miracles in his hometown because of their unbelief. Not that he didn't have the ability to do it. They just didn't see him in the proper light so that he could do what he was gifted to do. So when you got to let people be wrong about you, man, because people are going to be people, man. They are going to look at you and interpret you through their own lens. And you got to be cool with that. You can't make everybody like you. Please do not be a people pleaser. I want you to live your absolute best life. The people that are supposed to get you are going to get you. And the people that don't get you are not going to get you. And man, this is one of the things I always wish I could have learned a little bit earlier in life. Because, Pam, I think about the beautiful privilege and the honor to come before you guys every Wednesday fresh, when it's a fresh episode, or anytime you listen to me. And I think about how many times I could have been limited by letting people be wrong about me, about estimating and think about what they want to think about me. When I got literally people all over the world that listen to this podcast, and if I would have been limited by, you know what, man, I don't have my, degree, college degree. Man, I don't make a gang of money. Man, I'm not smart enough. I'm not. It makes me go right back to my songs. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. Damn, it makes you think about anytime you feel insufficient in areas and you're letting people judge you, you're limiting the people that's supposed to get you. You are doing that. So you got to let people be wrong about you. You got to let people underestimate you. You got to let people think what they going to think about you. This is one of the most phenomenal life skills that you could have that people take that's super underrated, that is super underestimated, is I have no control on how people going to think about me. I got to be super cool with letting them think what they want to think. I think about this all the time when I'm teaching in the class, man. And I'll have people like in the class that's on the edge of their seat taking notes like crazy in my class. And in the same exact class, I can have people in there sleeping on what I'm talking about. You be like, if I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, my teaching sucked, man. They fell asleep while I was teaching, man, and they wasn't paying attention and they was doodling and they was doing all that. And I have some people, man, that really know that the stuff that I'm saying is life changing. Guess what I have to do? I have to focus in on the people that you know is getting what you're teaching. That's what I'm supposed to do. I have no control on how people really are interpreting and receiving what I'm trying to give them. Yes. Do I always want pointers on how I can be better? Man, no doubt whatsoever. I always want pointers on that. But I always have to take into consideration, fam, there's going to be some people that just will not receive you for whatever reason. And you have to let people be wrong about you. That's their estimate. That's their opinion. And guess what? It is important to have a great first impression. That's you work hard at that, because sometimes the first impression that people get of you, guess what, it's going to be an impression that's going to be stuck with them for the rest of their life, and you have no control over that. But it's also knowing, did you shoot your best shot in trying to present a good image of yourself when you first met the person? Could it be that you was late to the meeting because actually it was an accident on the road and there's traffic and you got there late? You didn't mean to, but it happened. So some people might pigeonhole you as a person that ain't, being respectable of their time. So you got there late. Fam, you got to be cool with that. You got to be cool with, I might have didn't say it the way other people would want me to say it, because I always say it. I'm super simple. I'm not that deep of a person. I really believe that. I believe everybody can get what I say. It's not at a, college, very deep level of what I say. It's always the basic and simple stuff that I want to present to people. So some people, I might not say it in a super deep way, and so they can't get what I got to say. But it's always this. Are you being true and authentic to who God made you to be? If you doing that, you have to allow people to be wrong about you. You can't stop doing that, man. You got to know that. You got to know that. So also knowing how you can be underrated or undeserved by other people when it comes to life skills, man. You got to know when to walk away. There was this little song, I grew up in my era called The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. He said, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to walk away. And you got to know when to run. You got to call tail trying to get up out of there. Fam, that's life. You got to know when to call this thing. Now, I'm like you. I really am. I don't want to call it too early because I might miss something in the process. But I also know that there are times you just got to call it, man. You got to call it. It was one of those things where recently I had this wonderful opportunity to finally get more into the lanes of where I'm trying to get at in life. So I went to this job interview, man, and the job interview was offering me about $3 or $4 more an hour to do what I was already doing, but it was in a lesser capacity because I wasn't gonna be able to teach as much as I want to teach. And I'm not big on management. I'm not. I want to be with the peoples because that's who I am. So I was gonna be offered a couple more dollars an hour, but I walked away. And family, it was one of the biggest blessings I could have had, because I was able to go into this facility and double what I make now. And if I wouldn't have walked away from the $2 or $3, $4 an hour or more, I wouldn't have got a chance to go do what it is that I love to do and get double what I'm making. That was crazy to me. But I had to have confidence in who I was to be able to say, you know what, this is good. Thank you for the offer. I really appreciate it. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for seeing that. But this ain't really what I wanted to do. And now I'm getting a chance to do what I really want to do. And I just want to do it in a bigger capacity on my own. But it was amazing that I had to learn to walk away. Fam, there's people that's going to want to be arguing with you and they want to go toe to toe with you in an argument to prove that they right. You got to know when to walk away. When people are in your life and they frustrating you, they getting you mad. Fam, you got to know when to walk away. You got to know when to hold your peace. Because the person you arguing with ain't going to receive nothing you got to say. So you really got to read the room, take the temperature of the environment, and see if I say something, is my words going to actually change the situation? So you got to know when to hold your peace. You got to know when to fold it. And you fold that hand. Just say, you know what, fam, I put a little bit of skin in this right now, and it ain't going to pay off. And that's the cool part about sometimes not diving fully into situations, because sometimes it ain't going to, you going to be like where you can say like, dang, man, I'm glad I didn't put that much effort into that because it wouldn't have worked out. So you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to walk away. There are situations in your life, man, you have got to know, I got to walk away. And then there's sometimes you got to run. Yeah, there's sometimes you got to run. I love when God says in his word, flee fornication, man. He ain't say walk away. Because guess what? I could do a double dip and look back and be like, ooh, wee. Or God be like, haul tail and get up out that joint. You know, I've been in situations where as soon as I left where I had left, fam, there were some shootings going on in situations that I had left. And I was glad that I had ran away from the situations that I was in. Because guess what? Bullets ain't got no name. And I could have got shot. And I'm grateful that I hauled tail out of the place that I was in, because I knew if I stayed there, something was going to go down, and it went down. And I'm grateful and thankful to God that I didn't stay. I hauled tail to get up out of there. So you got to know when, know when you in certain situations, what's the temperature of the environment? What's going on that I need to say, you know what, I got to walk up out of here, get up out of here, because, man, this ain't going to cut it. So point number one was you got to know that you got to allow other people to be wrong. Number two, you got to know, fam, when is it time to walk away from? That's a gift. I'm serious, man. You got to understand in your lifetime, you got times where you got to know that's a gift to walk away from that moment, because you know that there's no good if I stick around to this situation from this, that any good is going to come from it. So, man, you got to know when to conserve your energy, conserve your wisdom, conserve your money, and say, you know what, let me throw the hand in on this one and get up, I'm out of here, because this ain't gonna be worth it, man. So that's one of those principles, man. You gotta know when to do. You gotta also know when to leave behind what no longer aligns with your vision. You gotta know, fam, that this just what, for where I'm at now in my life right now, This doesn't bring me joy. This doesn't bring me happiness no more. Leaving behind what no longer aligns to your vision, your calling, your goals. And sometimes that's really hard. It really is. And sometimes it was a scenario my wife had to walk away from ministry. And I've had to walk away from ministry at times. Yeah. So you got to know when, fam. Like, even though, guess what, you love doing what you do and you gifted to do what you know. Sometimes it's just about a matter of season. Like that season for that right there, fam, it's over. You know, I had a season where I used to go into jails and go into juvenile detention centers and go teach the word, man. And I loved it, man. And that season was beautiful. But I haven't done that in over a decade. When I was doing it, man. And it was cool. I loved it. But, man, that season, guess what? That season for that is over. Can I go back up in there? Yeah. If God see fit to open up the doors, I'll go back up in there and do it. But, man, that season was really wonderful for that. Man, it was a season where I used to love going to play hoops around Tucson, man. And we had, you know, a church team, man, that we would play for. Man, we had a good time, man. It was beautiful. And I loved it, man. I wouldn't trade that little season for nothing in the world. But, y'all, I'm 57. That season ended at 40. Yeah, Big Daddy gave that up. I was like, oh man, this is wonderful. Guess what? Let me shift it to doing something more different for my health. And guess what? I'm getting older and I can't run up and down this court like I used to. Guess what? That didn't align with the vision. The vision is staying healthy. But guess what? That season for that, guess what? That season changed. So you got to know when, like, man, this doesn't align with where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do. Sometimes we got to let go of those gifts, those dreams, those assignments that we had. Sometimes you guess what, you get to do it for a while, and sometimes it was, guess what, I never got a chance to do it. I still reflect back sometime over my goals when I was 18. I wanted to be a DJ, I wanted to be an accountant, I wanted to be a photographer, I wanted to be a bartender. I ain't end up doing none of that. But guess what, at 18, that was the dream, that was the goal. But man, where my life is at now, it didn't align with where I was trying to go. And I'm glad God shifted that around. Guess what, you can have the goals and the dreams, but when I allow God to, order my steps where he wants me to go, fam, guess what, some of that stuff, I'm like, man, I'm a failure, man, because I never got a chance to do. No, that was something that I wanted to do, but that wasn't, the bigger plan of what's supposed to go on. So sometimes, fam, you have to leave behind what no longer aligns, or maybe never aligned with what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And guess what? You call it quits. Yeah. Go on, put that down and say, you know what? This ain't going to work for me for where I'm at right now. So you let that go and be cool with that. Be cool with that, man. That is big. So, fam, we're going to come back in some future episodes coming up where we're going to be talking about, man, it's some stuff. There's some coping skills, man, that they don't align to where you're going. Yeah, we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to, man, letting people, see you in the wrong light. Like I said, you have no control over that. You got to also know that it's time to walk away from the situations, man. And knowing when stuff don't align with where you at and where you trying to go. So, fam, this is your boy, John Bacon, man. This is part 1 of those underrated life skills that people don't talk about enough. I love you guys so much. God bless. What up, fam? Do you need some extra tools that's going to help your life be the best that it can possibly be? Are you constantly juggling work, family, and personal time only to feel drained and unfulfilled? That's where the book that I wrote called The Balanced Life can be your guide to reclaiming your time, energy, and happiness with practical strategies for setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and achieving real balance. This book helps you create a life that you love without the burnout. Get ready to break free from the chaos and step into a life of purpose and peace. Grab your copy of The Balanced Life because you deserve a life that works for you. Also, we have The Unraveling. It's a journal to help you write, reflect, and heal. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings deserve space. The Unraveling Journal is more than just a notebook. It's your personal guide to self-reflection, healing, and growth. With guided prompts, mindfulness exercises, and room to express yourself freely, this journal helps you untangle emotions, process life's challenges, and rediscover clarity. Take a moment for you. Write, reflect, and heal, one page at a time. And fam, also another book written by my wife is Healthy Relationships. Because fam, you know this. Great relationships don't just happen. They're built. Whether it's with your partner, kids, friends, or co-workers, strong connections are the foundation of a happy life. In healthy relationships, you'll learn how to communicate better, set healthy boundaries, and nurture trust in every relationship that matters to you. Because when your connections thrive, you thrive. Start building stronger, healthier relationships today. Order your copy at kingdomservantsfirst.com. Once again, that's kingdomservants1st.com. Fam, we want you to be the best version of yourself. Get one of these books today. God bless.